Alrighty then, this is the collapse experiment. Welcome to my show as I try to avoid deer poop in the field behind my house. That's a thing. Oh yeah, so this is day 14 of the Ramen challenge. I have been posting on the ramenronin.wordpress.com and things are going pretty good. Except for a little discomfort today. And it's not from 14 days of eating ramen. Oh no. It's from the ghost pepper ramen challenge that I did yesterday. Yes, I am still feeling it. It is not a sit down, try this meal, can you eat it, can you not eat it type of challenge. It's a 2-day ordeal. Anybody who has messed around with ghost peppers probably knows that. I did have a coworker last night talk about doing the one chip challenge, and they had a similar experience. Although I didn't have one chip, I had a nice cup of ramen. And I say nice sarcastically. The first bite is the only one that really had any type of flavor. After that, the ghost peppers kicked in, and it was a miserable experience. So the drama at Tim Cast IRL continues, as you know, as everybody knows by now, because it's probably mainstream news. Kanye Yippee-ki-yay, whatever the fuck his name is right now, stormed off less than 10 minutes after being on the show. From what little snippet I saw, Tim, being Tim, didn't know to shut the fuck up, let his guest actually speak. It's amazing. He spends the money to fly these people in. Yes, he flies them in to have them on, to have a conversation. But Tim doesn't seem to understand what a conversation is, which is two people engaging in dialogue trying to learn from one another. Oh no, Tim has his agendas. He is the one who tries to pick the topic. There is no natural flow of things, if you will, when it comes to his show. He will never be Joe Rogan. The fact that he doesn't bother to listen to anyone on his show, whether it is a co-host or the guest, that is his downfall. That is why his show will never be anything near what Joe Rogan's is. Joe Rogan will smoke a joint, drink some whiskey, sit there, relax, let his guests talk, because he is there to learn from them. They are not props. They are people. He acknowledges that. And everybody is different. Everybody has their own ideas and sets of opinions. Tim, for whatever reason, his opinions he thinks are superior. He believes he's always right. And really, depending on the paycheck, that is really the deciding factor here. It's not necessarily that Tim thinks it's right. It's whether or not it'll get his video demonetized, whether it will cut his income. And that is really the deciding factor as to what he believes. There's that famous quote that you can't really convince somebody of something if their paycheck is depending on it. And that is Tim Pool when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to his podcast, the show in general, the the money coming in from super chats. If you really want to hurt some of these shows, just stop super chatting. I don't know who the fuck has all that kind of extra money to just throw around at somebody talking. online. It's nothing I would partake in. Probably why I'm not successful. Because if I understood the motivation behind somebody sending a person $5 or $10 to read a comment on a show, it just doesn't make any sense to me. There's been a few times where I've seen people like, they'll do a super chat, they'll promote their book or their business. That I understand, because now you're paying for advertising. But when you're like, let me put it this way, if your opinion was that valuable, they'd be paying you for it. So I don't understand. I don't understand that at all. So that's just my thing. And anyways, so yeah, there was that drama with Kanye. Whoop-de-doo. Yay, you got your ratings. At this point, I believe the show is basically... Tim likes to talk about civil war, but no, he is looking at like an empire collapse at this point. And by that, I mean he has made a series of decisions, took the wrong trail here, that were temporary solutions at the time. And what we know from making choices on the spot that essentially work as a band-aid is that eventually the band-aid comes off and you are screwed later. I don't know what that sound is. Let's go check it out. Well, I believe that grunting was some type of bird, because it took off pretty fast. So what happens with the band-aids? Well, eventually they come off, and that wound that you had before that you were trying to cover up and hope that it went away is now infected and festering, and the repercussions of that thing are now worse than if you had just properly taken care of it beforehand. A lot of people don't like to do that. I don't understand the psychology behind it. It's usually people who prefer or have a history of taking an easy out of certain situations. So having those things never addressed or taken care of eventually come back, and because there was no responsibility beforehand for what happened, of course they are not responsible for it later, even when things are worse. And that's what's happening at Timcast right now. I'm sad to see the other people who are brought up into this. You've got Luke Rakowski, Michael Malice, who's supposed to be on the show next week. I am really waiting for people to start distancing themselves from this show, because things have not worked out well for other people who have been on it. You've got Jack the Cuck Murphy. He disappeared. It was never addressed. Again, a band-aid. We'll just never have him on again. It's fine. That doesn't affect us. You helped support this guy's career. You helped people know about his stupid program on learning how to be a man, where Cuck Murphy got more money from people who had no idea what the fuck his past was. Obviously, Tim didn't do any research either. And here's the thing I'd like to really point out about Tim at this point. And I've known this for a while, and I didn't care because he was hosting a show. But he always refers to himself as a journalist. Motherfucker's not a journalist. He may have been at one time, but it's not like being a Marine, where once a Marine, always a Marine. No. A journalist is a profession. It is something that you are constantly engaging in. When you are no longer relying on a paycheck from writing articles, doing documentaries, researching, publishing stories, when you're no longer engaging in that activity, you're not a journalist. You were a journalist. Congratulations. But no. It's not the same thing. So Tim Pool is not a journalist. He was at one time. And that royally pisses me off because I have literally done more journalism in the last 2 years than he has. So there's that. Yes, he is the host of a show. Congratulations. Go you. And the other thing is, he does have a show, a separate show, where he sits there and he talks about the news that other people reported. And he reads their articles. That's not journalism. That's being any other talking head on TV or the internet. So that's kind of irritating. Why do I care so much about this? This is probably something that you might have thought of after my last 2 videos. Like, why are you focusing on this? It's just drama. It's bullshit. I'm focusing on it because at one point in time, I was a subscriber. I did give them, I think it was like $5 or $10 a month, something like that, for a period of time. And this was back when they really didn't have all that much content on their website. Never bought any of their products that they put out, never paid for a song, anything like that. But at one point in time, the money that I earned through working a real physical job, I contributed towards something that I thought was growing into what could be a notable, reputable company for news, information. That didn't happen. You know, they really don't promote any of their news articles anymore. Have you noticed that? Beforehand, it would say like, oh, Cassandra, it's not Fairbanks anymore. I forget her last name now. She got married. She has a new article, blah, blah, blah. And Tim would talk about it. Apparently, they were not becoming the news source that they wanted. And therefore, I don't know, maybe they are still posting stuff, but it's just never brought up on the show. So I'm guessing that idea was probably scrapped. There was also a few other projects that they were doing, different podcasts and shows. And it sounds like they screwed themselves out of that stuff too, because there was a story recently where one of their employees was sent out to do something on a plane. Their ticket was canceled by Timcast. They were stranded at an airport. They had all of their access to the show that they were working on removed from the website. And when they contacted Timcast to find out what the hell's going on, they were notified that they were fired. Very professional. Abandoning your employee in a situation that they themselves, not the employee, but Timcast, created. And I have a feeling we're going to hear a lot more stories like this. Carlin, she has a YouTube channel. She's been covering a lot of this. She's a psychiatrist, psychologist. One has a medical degree. I don't know which one she has. Anyways, I think she's a psychologist. Um, so she's been going through a lot of this situation and discussing what is happening behind the scenes. And now she has employees, former employees of Timcast, contacting her to do interviews about what they've seen, what's true. And already, just in the mentionings of these coming interviews, it sounds like all of these people are like, Adam was 100% spot on with everything he said. There's no lies. Tim lied, Lydia lied and denied, and Adam apparently is not in the wrong with this, which I already freaking knew. So moving on, as for me, what am I up to? Well, that's a good question, because I sent a message to one of my bosses yesterday to find out what I'm working this week, and I never heard back. That's not a good sign. And I have no idea what the hell I would have done, but yeah, for some reason, inquiring about when I might be doing some shifts this week didn't justify a callback or a text message. I've been hearing some things about poor communication, but this is the first time I've experienced it. So, in the meantime, I've got 2 books of fiction that I will be working on. There's the Ramen Challenge, which doesn't take much time at all. Even if I do a short video, it's usually altogether maybe an hour of work, unless I'm doing like a homemade ramen. And doing some work around the house. That's about it. So I still have my evening job. Things are picking up at work. Now we're into the holiday season, the Black Friday sales, the Amazon stuff. And, honestly, I thought it'd be a lot worse than it was so far. I don't know about you. I don't have a lot of extra money to be spending on shit. So, granted, that's my perspective on the economy and things. And I do want to do a separate video on some things that have changed with me, especially my thinking on certain things in our society at the moment. But yeah, hopefully not before Christmas. I won't be putting out anything before Christmas. It'll probably be a little after Christmas when if or when, not if, when I put out some new books. But yeah, this is becoming like a sensitive subject for me. Because there's a couple of books that I put out recently that I put a lot of work into. I did a lot of research, did a lot of promotion, advertising, and yeah, it's not paying off. So when it comes to this whole writing thing, at some point, I wish, I hope that someday I could actually make a living at this. But the way things are going now with Amazon, with publishing, I almost believe it's like a thing with people in general. Yeah, books are... it's almost like a dying medium. People want to listen to podcasts. They want to see something on Netflix. When you have something like that that is readily accessible at any time, the notion that somebody is going to sit down and read a book, um, I think most people would say that their time can be better spent watching that last season of Letterkenny, like I did. I mean, I'm a prime example of this as well. I'm like halfway through this new Anthony Bourdain book, and I haven't picked it up in, what, maybe 2 weeks now, just to finish the damn thing. Um, I think one of the problems with it is that a lot of the stuff that's covered in it is shit that I already know, but it's also written in a different perspective from what I haven't heard before. And there goes a rabbit. So, anyways, yeah, I'm currently, I would say, doing some soul searching on a lot of this stuff. It's not like the world needs another YouTuber. Heaven forbid we need another fucking podcast. Even though I haven't posted on that podcast in probably well over a month now. I believe I might have some money sitting in the Anchor account waiting for me. But at the same time, I'm just like, do I even pursue this any further, or do I just try? I don't know. I have no fucking idea. I'm 43 years old and I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing with my life. And I'm not really getting any signs, any insights. I, for the most part, hate the jobs that I have. No, that's actually not true. The the one I'm waiting to hear back from, I actually enjoy because it's more relaxing, and it's basically similar pay for what I already do, just without the freaking stress. But as for the other one, it's just, there's aspects of it that's a toxic work environment, and there's other aspects of it that it's just, you're just a cog in a machine that can be quickly replaced, and therefore, there's, like any other job, there's really no security. There's some benefits to it, and you're constantly weighing, like, are the benefits worth keeping the job? But then, what the fuck else are you going to do? So, that's where I'm at. Who knows? I can hope on a few things, but I'll save that for another video. Anyways, keep on typing.